Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Gulfstream today. Ron Nicoletti along with Samantha Perry. Another really nice day here in South Florida. Fast-made track, firm turf course. Samantha, double carryover day today. Besides the Rainbow Six, a little later on with a $600,000 gross jackpot guarantee. We have a big carryover in the Super High Five in race number one.
Yeah, we do, and it's a nice race as well. Maybe an opportunity to key a horse and play some under. We were just trying to figure that out earlier, but $76,000 carrying over, and look at the pool already. It'll keep getting higher.
Oh, yeah, we're just warming up right now. We got over an hour, or just about an hour before first race post. It's already up to $85,000. So we'll remind you about that a little later on so you don't forget. And that's right in race number one, so you have to start handicapping that first race. And it's going to be a mile in the 16th on the turf for maiden claiming fillies and mares 3-year-olds and up. We did have one scratch in here, Bullet Valentina. So Brian put an early pick 5 ticket together. Let's check it out. He went deep in here, and I don't know. I thought Rita Margot looked pretty good to me, but that's the way we'll talk about that race. He's got Little Belita in second. I think that's his best bet of the day, or long shot, one or the other. Too deep in race 7, Oasis Jack and Law Machine. And then race number 4, he's got some coverage in there. He's using Mr. Cellular, and it looks like Dream of Blessing in there. And in the last race, he's got some coverage in there. I went a different way. I got my best bet in there with Nantasket Beach. So, but a very affordable $48 ticket.
Yeah, it is, and I like the spread here in this first race. Yeah, Rita Margarita does look tough, but yeah, I mean, it can go either way. Rita Marga. I was getting excited for Margarita, I guess.
I know, it's a great. I like this name. They just backed it up. I think that's pretty cool. Stretching out to the mile in the 16th after turning from the layup to finish the screw tightening. Set the pace third against 20 maiden. Going 7.5 on the grass for Kelsey Danner. You're getting leading rider Irad Ortiz Jr. I love the work that Kelsey does. Irad, need we say more? I think going in today, he's got over 100 wins already.
Yeah, he's really just racking them up, and this is a horse that she's got some speed, so he can use it if he wants to. We've seen that this course has been playing pretty well towards the front end, especially with fillies like this that are kind of these lower level claimers. A lot of them can't make that nice closing run. Some of them can, but not all of them can, and I think this is a horse that maybe can get loose in here.
Well, you put the first-time starter in second. I had a little further down. That's Miss Tones, first-time starter from David Fawkes, and this one, a daughter of Tonalist.
Yeah, and she's had a really nice work pattern leading up to this race. David Fawkes had a sneaky first-time starter win with Luis Saez last weekend. Lasix for the first time here. You know, sometimes this barn with first-time starters isn't necessarily the strongest, but I think in a field like this, it's good to play a horse that maybe has some unknowns over horses that have had their chance.
The number 10, Ramahandan, I think it is, the Irish bred, is another trying 8.5 furlongs. He stalked the pace. He actually had the lead in that race before finishing a third, going a mile for Anmia. And you get Ned Zayas managing that outside post today.
Yeah, and I think the outside post is a nice draw here. Technically the 9 now with the scratch of the 1. But maybe she can just kind of sit a nice little stalking trip here. They've got a pretty long run into the first turn. It's a mile and the 16th, and the rails are at 35 feet. So they've got some ways. And Edgar Zayas has been having a good meet as well.
Yeah, that's right. You got to watch that rail setting at 35 feet. You know, the number 3, Kid Can Run, is going back to what might prove to be her preferred surface after the stalking flat and fourth, going a mile and 16th on to Peter. Mark Cassie's the trainer. How hot has Tyler Gaffleone been?
Yeah, no kidding. He really has been. And this is a horse that she ran a really nice race on the grass after a long layoff, third start in the form cycle. I think there's a lot of things to like about her here.
Well, let's go to race number 2 this afternoon, and this is going to be a 1-mile claimer. Fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up, non-winners of 3 races in life. We did have a scratch in here, the number 2, Raising the Glass, so we're going to deal with a 5-horse field in here. You got that early pick 4 ticket.
I do indeed, and it is a $12 play for me. I didn't really trust anybody in this race. And race number 3, that is my single. That's the number 8, Law Machine, my best bet of the day. Race 4, the 6 is my top pick. That's Mr. Cellular. And in race 5 here, the number 2, Smart Striker, is my long shot. Mark Cassie and Emma Jane Wilson. Blinkers, or first time gelding, pardon me, for this horse here. $12 to play.
Very affordable. It's a $12 ticket. Getting back to this race, I did put on top, the one bullet on tap is stepping up and stretching out. After breaking from the rail and drawing clear to defeat those two lifetime claimers going 7 furlongs. Always tough to step up to the next condition, but it's Elizabeth Dobles. We talked about Edgar Zayas, second start in a row from the rail.
Yeah, and this is a filly that she trains like she's a really good thing. You would never watch her train in the morning and think she was a 6250 claimer. I think now that she's got that confidence under her belt, this will be a filly that can keep stepping forward.
You make a great point, because once these horses, but way better than me, once these horses, you see they're 0 for 14, all of a sudden they win a race and they run, and they get another win and they run good for a while. So I think Brian Single, the number 4 Little Belita, who's wheeling back after chasing the pace, I thought finished just an okay third at this level and distance for Colin Marat, and you're going to keep the apprentice Angel Morales in the saddle.
Yeah, that's a big advantage here, getting less weight than anybody in this race, and I think that's going to be the biggest asset for this horse.
And then you have Capidri on your ticket, Frank Santanella.
Yeah, and all of the wins for this filly came on the dirt, so she's getting back to that preferred surface here, and we'll see what we get. She is just 2 for 14, so kind of hard to trust, but there's others in here that have more double starts than her.
I was hoping to get a little bit more of a price on this horse, the 2 Katie's Dream Girl, now with the scratch that ended too. This one now in the Fred LeBeau barn. The mare returns to the main track, faced better on both to Peter and Turf while in the Bill Theranos barn. But they've done this once before.
That's true.
And I missed it. And I wanted to get it again. Fred LeBeau, I think he paid a quadrillion dollars or something like that. And I'm going to get it the next time. And then I look, and the line maker's got it 3-1 in the 5-horse field now. So that ship, as they say, has sailed. So we'll take a short break. When we come back, we'll have my Rainbow Six ticket.
And they're off.
Welcome back to Gulfstream today. Ron and the beautiful Samantha here for race number 3, 5.5 furlongs. Maiden claiming filly 3-year-olds. Did have an early scratch of the number 8, Saint Foxy. And this is where the Rainbow Six, talking about that, we got $600,000 in this pool, and you can get it today. So here's my ticket. Guess what? It's $43.20 again. We'll talk about this third. Got some coverage in race number 4. I like Mr. Sully. I'm going to show you a video of that horse. But I use Dream of Blessing in Astral Weeks. My single is, I'm going here with Nantasket Beach. Kelly Breen going for Victory 1000. You're getting Paco Lopez. Geldis on the Street Boss taking a shot. Wide open 6th race. My top pick is Solaire, but I went 4 deep in there. Sonicus and 2 a T, the 2 and 6 for me with the scratch in there. I think Awesome Man Marie I would add if I wanted to make my ticket a little stronger. And in the last, my long shot is today is the number 9, Max Swagger, 10-1 in the morning line. I'm afraid I'm not going to get it.
Yeah, I don't think you will. There's a scratch as well. So.
Yeah, the scratch, so that sort of did it. Getting back to this third race, 43-20 for me. I started at Samantha with the number 7 Oasis. Jack, we'll start there before you go to your single. Goes to the Rohan Crichton barn after the claim. Makes her first start since finishing a duel for the lead third at this level and distance back in January. But then you look at the stats. The barn is 32% with new claims, almost 30% with this type of layoff. And what did they do? They had Iran to the ticket.
Yeah, there's so many things to like about this filly. I guess maybe why I took a stand against her is just the fact that they claimed her back on January 18th, and now it's been a little bit. Sometimes Rohan, when he claims them, he'll run them back bit sooner than this. So that's why I just kind of pumped the brakes a little bit on her and went with Law Machine as my single.
Yeah, turning back to 5. And I think you got a stat for Brendan.
Yeah, I do here. This is a stat on Brendan with maiden claimers, and not too bad. 7 for 45, 16%. But here's what I like, Ron: 44% in the money at maiden claimers here the last 5 years. So if he's not winning them, he's certainly hitting the board with them.
I wanted to ask you a question too. Being you ride and you work for Brendan, how much stock do you put in second time blinkers? Do you notice when you're riding a horse the first time, then second time he really understands it, or is that one of these racing fallacies?
I think it's a little bit of a racing fallacy.
Yeah.
It just kind of depends. If they were to change maybe the cup size on the blinker,
Right.
that could make a difference. But using the same, maybe if they're using a cup at blinker second time, maybe a little bit it could be like, okay, yeah, we're doing this again. But it's like it's the first time, I think, makes the biggest difference.
Yeah, that's what I would think. But I hear people always saying, "Oh, second time blinkers."
Yeah.
Like the second time laces. Oh, now he's used to it. I don't know. I always thought it was a little silly in there. You went with you got my horse in second, but you went to the inside with Sally Seville in third. Joe Orsino is going to train it for One and Done Stable.
Yeah, and Tyler Gaffleone jumps aboard here, which I think is significant. I don't like the fact that this filly drew the rail first time out. That's always kind of tough, but she's had solid work. She was working back here at Gulfstream Park in July, so she's got a nice work pattern heading into this race.
Number 5, Wolf Rayette is dropping to this level of 12-5, debuting on the main track. Face better going both short and long on the torpedo for Jose D'Angelo. Jose Ortiz managing the surface switch, so a little bit of guesswork there.
Yeah, it is. At least this filly we know trains across the dirt surface, works across the dirt surface at Palmettos, but still it's the fact that she's racing on it for the first time.
So let's go to race number 4 today. 1 mile claimer, 3-year-olds and up, non-winners of 2 races in life. $6,250, and you have your late pick 5 ticket here.
I do, and this is a nice little sequence. 2 deep here. We'll get to this race in just a second. In race 5, the 2 Smart Striker is my long shot. First time gelding from Mark Cassie. Race number 6, the 1 Sequin Lady. I had to do a single somewhere else, and this horse is she's already won on the Tapeta, so I like that a lot. Race number 7, the 2 Sonicus is my top pick, second off the layoff for Savvy Joseph. And in race 8, this is a really tough race here. I think the 5, Mr. Barrios, the likeliest winner, but only 2 horses in this race have faced winners, so it's going to be a tough one.
Tough one in there, and I was hoping to get a little price with Max Swagger. We'll see how that works out. Getting back to this 4th race, Mr. Celia, 4-year-old son of Nyquist, is stepping up to face winners. I'm just going to go you back. This is sort of just to show you how well I thought this horse ran well. Now, this horse was in a dueling with Maiden Bank throughout the whole race. They separated him for the field, and I just thought that this horse was very game, and it's the number 2 horse in here. And finally, the horse on the inside fighting back. I just thought it was a game performance for Claudia Gonzalez. Angel Morales going for 2 in a row. And if you watch the whole race, of course, I didn't want to show the whole race, for time reasons, but they dueled throughout the whole race.
Yeah.
And I like the fact that this horse drew up just a little bit.
Yeah, and with these lower level claimers, this horse was actually still a maiden, facing winners for the first time. And that says a lot about the horse's talent, I think, to be able to duel that whole way and still kick clear.
Now, you went with the number 7 in here, Krypton. You must be a Superman fan. Are you?
So.
Todd Pletcher, maybe, but not Superman.
Expose me here. Krypton is a Carlos David trained horse. He claimed this horse 3 starts back here. I think that this horse has upside with the drop-in class. They claimed this horse for 12.5, so now they're cutting that in half. Probably not the way they wanted to go here, but I still think that with these connections of Lionel Reyes, this is a good pick.
Well, I'm full of questions for you today, too. The number 4, Dream of Blessing, is a 3-year-old gelded son of Jess's Dream. Dropping to this level, followed the dominating 12.5 maiden score, going a mile, 2 starts back with a poor showing against 2 lifetime claimers. How much stock do you put in 3-year-olds facing old horses in March?
It's tough.
Yeah.
It is very tough. I think maybe in a race like this, it could be a little less as far as maiden special weight company, because this is claiming 62.50. But yeah, it is a tough one.
The number 3, Astro Weeks, is hoping to save more for the stretch drive. Set the pace, yielded at the furlong marker last time. Finished third at this level and distance. You always got to respect Peter Walder. Jesus Rios in the saddle.
Yeah, and this horse, it looks like he could maybe control the pace a little bit. Nature Boy actually might have something to say about it, but I do like the fact that he has shown at least a little bit of, trying to hang tough, and he's just getting closer each time.
Let's go to race number 5 this afternoon. It's 1 mile and 1/16th on the turf. Claim is 3 and up. Non-winners of 2, 50 down to 40. Scratch the 7 master none. This race and the last race are my 2 favorite races on the card. There's so many different ways to go. So maybe Brian can help us out with his late pick 4 ticket. See what he did in this race. I remember he went deep, so he's got 4, 5, 6, and 9. We'll talk about this race. He's got the 1, 2, 3 Solaire on there and Heir to the Roar. Also race 7. 2 deep with the Sonicus and the 1 horse that you used, right?
Yep.
And then in the last, 5 and 7 for him, and Mr. Barrio, probably, as you mentioned, is the one to beat in that spot.
Yeah, but it really could go either way. These horses can step up and win again. But this race, like you said, this is a good one here.
Yeah, and I singled right here with Nantasket Beach, who's stretching out to the mile and the 16. Rallied to finish third behind a really nice repeat winner, Master of the Senate, going a mile last time out. Kelly Breen, as we've been mentioning, I think this is his first race that they got a chance to notch his 1,000 victory.
Yeah.
That's not why I picked this horse. I just like Master of the Senate. I thought ran real well. And you're getting Paco Lopez, his go-to jock, returning on this gelded son of Street Boss.
Yeah, this is a horse that I think can definitely air this field out possibly, but I don't think it will be that easy. This horse I think will probably be a bit closer than he was last time. Like you said, Master of the Senate was just so impressive. Safi claimed they came back and won again with him last weekend, so there's a lot to like about him. I'm a bit superstitious. I put him second. Maybe he'll get the win. I didn't want to curse him.
The number 2 Smart Strike is your long shot from Mark Cassie, and as you mentioned, a brand new gelding.
He is, yep, and I've got a statistic on Cassie, I believe, here, and this is not having anything to do with gelding, but this is Tapeta to turf and allowance to claiming ranks. So he's only done this twice, and he's won one of them. Now, it wasn't a very big return on investment, but I think that's significant.
Yeah, Emma Jane Wilson been riding really well. So this one, Smart Strike certainly going to get a bit of a price in there.
Yeah.
10 to 1 on the morning line because this horse will be trying the turf for the first time. The number 4 in here, Experience, is going to face these 50,000 2 lifetime claimers going this mile in the 16th after trying 35 optional claimers. That was going 11. And then tried 12 furlongs, respectively, cutting back for Jonathan Thomas. Jose, so it's a combo, dropped down and it turned back in distance for sure.
Yeah, it is. And I kind of wonder, and they're putting the blinkers on, which I think is a smart move because these horses that run those marathon distances, maybe the blinkers, they tend to sharpen them up some. You've got to be a bit closer than you would, like tactic style, approaching this race a bit different than you would a mile and 3/8.
What'd you see with the one Street Van who goes to the Mike DiPaolo barn after the claim stretches out so far? This horse's best distance.
Yeah, it has been, and this is first off the claim for Todd Pletcher. Michael DiPaolo did $50,000. They didn't just give this horse away here, and this is a horse that has a nice little closing kick. So maybe if somebody goes out front, this horse can sit a nice trip, and you have Irad.
Yeah, I read the horse, like I said, 4 for 8 in the money at the distance.
Yeah.
I think he figures prominently a horse that certainly can be on the exact or a try ticket, that's for sure.
Yeah.
Whoop.
Oh.
A little bit of wind here. We'll put that over there. Race number 6 this afternoon. 5 furlongs on the Tapeta. Claim is fillies and mares, 4-year-olds and up. Non-winners of 3 races in life. 12-5 down to $10,000. Here was my pick of the day here. I had this as original. I have a Crazy Passion. I thought would be good here at 9 to 2 for Amador Sanchez, but scratched. So you have the one. I know Brian has the one too, and I used this one on my Rainbow Six, but I went back to use it because I think I might have missed it.
Yeah.
Sequin Lady. So I did use it on my ticket. So tell me why I did not do it.
That's only you know that, Ron. But Kelsey Danner, she's done great work this championship meet. Very excited for her. She hasn't started a lot of horses, but she's done well with all of them. This horse, she's on her for preferred distance here. She's got 2 wins in her lifetime. One of them have come from the Tapeta surface here at Gulfstream Park, but she's also hit the board 4 other times in those races. Cutting back to that 5 furlong distance, I think, is a good spot for her. Irad gets the rail here. not a huge fan of that, but she's one that's kind of a stalking pace trip, so I think that this one hole will be okay.
The number 3, Soler, is cutting back to 5 furlongs and returning to her most productive surface. She finished third, going 5.5 on the Tapeta. I think Lee McCannis has Jose Ortiz in the saddle. I think this horse can run well in this spot.
Yeah, I think so too. And this is a horse that has been knocking at the door here. If you kind of are one that reads into maybe he bounced that race 2 back, if you just cross out that dirt start, he's been really good.
It's 5 for 5 in the money on the all-weather surface there. The number 5 horse in here is someone I used in second, used a little further down. That's Meet the Beauty. He's cutting back to this 5 furlongs after returning from the layoff. Went up and dueled for the lead weekend, going 5.5. But it's Victor Barboza. He's sharp. He's 25%. Second after a 45 to 180-day layoff in this horse. And Meet the Beauty will be ridden by Edgar Zayas. They originally had Louis Sayers, but I think he's on his way to Dubai.
No, actually, days.
Days.
Yeah.
Either one or the other.
Yeah, exactly. But second off the layoff, you said it. This trainer is so good with these types of moves here. This horse can probably really step up with a tightener under the belt.
The number 2, Add to the Roar. This is the one I added with the scratch and Crazy Passion, who was on top. Stepping up to the next level, rallied against the bias that we see here. It looks like you got to be in that sort of first flight when you're on the Tapeta, to win. So I thought it was a good performance. Now everybody's asking me, Ruben Sierra. Ruben Sierra, of course, is the owner of Just for Fun Stables, so he decided to take over training himself, and that's why all these changes. Everybody thinks that the other trainer's not training, but that's not the case.
There you go. He's doing it just for fun.
Yep. Well, I don't know about funny ones. Oh, I get it. She got me. I love it. Race number 7 this afternoon. 6 furlongs allowance, optional claim is state bred fillies and mares 4 and up. Optional tag is 20,000. Did have some scratching here, sort of wrecked the race a little bit. The 3, she's all woman, and the number 5 horse in here, Bree Tits. So I want to go back and show you a couple of horses in here before I talk about my top pick, Sonicus. And this is Awesome Anne Marie in 6, 2 a T. Now, that day, you're going to see 2 to T closing on the outside is the number 8 here. But the rail opens up. It's an absolutely perfect spot for the number 3, Awesome Anne Marie, to win. I mean, you can hear Pete's call. He says, you got to find some room on the inside, and, you think he's going to win. And he sort of has this little bit of chandelier going on in the stretch, and the 8 just comes flying down. And I just sort of thought that the 3 could have won that race there that day.
Yeah, I think so too, and I think that maybe this first off the claim, this is another opportunity for Kelly Breen to get the 1,000th win, but I see your point in wanting to go to the 2. That's who I put on top as well. Safi Joseph trained second off the layoff as well for this filly, and she was coming out of that race, but she was coming off of a long layoff, so you got to excuse her for that.
Yeah, she had that early 2-length lead. She finished 4th, so I think she's going to run well. Of course, we're not telling you anything great. Awesome Anne Marie, that's why I backed off a little bit. I put the 6 in second, 2 a T, and you saw the horse's race. I thought this horse closed stoutly. Now, that was 6.5, turning back to 6 today.
Yeah, and pardon me, really needs some speed to run at, and you would think that Sonicus would probably be the one to do it, but not going to get that extra half furlong, like you mentioned, to kind of catch up.
Let's go to our final race on the Wednesday card. A mile into 16th on the turf. Starter optional claimer 3-year-olds started for $35 or less. So the optional tag of $35,000. Scratch the 1, Shankar, and the number 8 horse in here, Usteko. And Max Swagger, as I mentioned, is my long shot of the day, stepping up and stretching out. I want to go back and show you. We're going to pick this horse's race up from the 316 pole home. And you're going to just see Max Swagger here on the outside. Sort of had to have that outside trip in there. And because of the post. And I just thought this horse ran well. Number 10 horse in this race. And you can see there sort of outside a little bit and closes really, really well in this race to get it. So I thought off that performance. I know it's a recent maiden winner, but I thought this horse was ultra game. Was 4-1 that day at 10-1 on the morning line. Was able to hold off everybody that was coming late. So I thought it was a pretty good performance.
Yeah, it really was. And you say, well, he's facing winners for the first time, but so is everybody else in this race, bar 2 horses in this race. So I think that if anybody's got a chance, he could as well.
I think you got a stat on Safi?
I do, yeah. It's Safi with winners maiden winners last time out. So he's 37 for 162, 23%, $1.49 return on investment. So horses coming back to win after they just broke their maiden, and that's a pretty solid stat.
And that's a big sampling, too. It's not like
Exactly.
five
Yeah.
horses or anything. So, well, you know how good Safi does. But I am sort of in agreement with you. If you don't like, Max Swagger or something like that, I think Mr. Barrio might be the horse to beat. Hoping to sit in the trip behind the speed in the nightcap today, I thought.
Yeah, exactly. And this is one of the two horses in this race who have actually faced winners before. It was a tough race the last time that he was in against Spy Novel. That's one of Safi Joseph's who's very tough as well. And he was kind of bumped around a bit. If you read into as far as maidens facing winners for the first time, I think this is a horse that this is the likeliest winner of the race.
I'm going to mention I was torn between making either the Max Swagger or the 3, my long shot, then backed off a little bit. Talking about People Force who's stepping up to face winners. Finally put it together last time out with the second Lasix. This thought of Air Force Blue has never run a bad race on the Gulfstream turf.
No, she hasn't. He really likes it. And I think that this is a horse that can sit a really nice trip as well. Luca Panici, I know you're a huge fan of him. It's going to be a good race.
Yeah, pretty good race in there. And you have the 2 Cosmic Speculation, Joe Orsino. Got to be one of them on the pace.
Yeah, has to be. I think this will be the control horse of the race here. Gets the rail now, which I'm not too keen on, but I think Jose Ortiz can work out a nice trip.
Well, that's how we see this 8-race card. The Super High 5 pool is already up to 90,000 with way over 30 minutes left to bet that race if you like it. So make sure you're aware. That's in race number 1. Here's our lightning round. As we do in each and every start of the week, we started off first with the jockey standings. Oh, let's see who's on the lead today. 104 wins for Irad. I think the record is he has the record, 120, 30.
Wow.
So I'm going to look into that. Luis Saez in second. Jose, I think, is having a great meet.
Definitely, yeah. He might surpass Louis Saez with Louis having days right now, that's so exciting for him. It's very nice.
And we mentioned Tyler Gaffleon just had a great week, and Edgar just so consistent. So as the top 5 in the standings, but Irad is sort of looking back at the rest of the field. Trainer standings, these guys have been knocking their heads all meet, and 41 to 37. Safi, of course, starts way more horses than Mr. Pletcher, 37. Hey, Mike Maker, Billy Mott, Antonio San Antonio, he's got those claimers. He does a good job with them.
He does, yeah. This is going to be a fight till the end here with these guys.
Yeah, pretty good. I think Safi got the best of Todd last year after, I think, 17 in a row for Todd.
Wow.
So Safi, like I say, starts a lot of horses in here. Best bet today, your best bet?
Law Machine.
Law Machine. And mine is in race number 5. It's Nantasket Beach, 2-1 on the board. So pretty good. Your long shot today?
It is Smart Striker, I think. Yeah, Smart Striker in race number 5, Mark Cassie.
And mine is in the last race this afternoon, hoping to get around 10-1. That's Max Swagger in there. We mentioned a couple of times, we'll show you the slate right now, but the slate is we passed that already. We're up to over almost $95,000. That's Super High 5, and it's right here in race number 1. So you got to get your tickets in, and you got plenty of time to do it. It's going to be way over $100,000.
Yeah, it will. It's exciting and handicap away. You still have some time.
One of the horses we loved watching around here, especially for the trainer Jerry O'Dwyer, is Sibelius, who's getting ready to run in the $2 million Golden Shaheen in Dubai, and just seen him just cruising around after his morning jog. He's just checking out the situation. I just love the connections and this horse. Big root for me.
Yeah, and this is a horse that I was showing you pictures of him last weekend. He just, when he goes out onto the track there, he stops. He lets people pet him. He's just so cool. He's like, he owns the place there.
Yeah, and trainer Jerry O'Dwyer has everything on you need to be a trainer there. Hat, binoculars, he's ready to go.
He's ready.
So, hey, I should have showed this maybe on Sunday because this was on the Saturday, but I went back and looked, and I had to show you, and you pointed this right out. You and Brian had this horse nailed, that this horse was exceptionally fast, and I'm talking about Accomplished Girl. Look at those splits, and this horse just kept going.
Yeah, she was really impressive, and she made it to the starting gate. That was her biggest hold up here after being scratched 2 different times. Excited to see what we get from her.
Yeah, yeah, and she was really behaving well this time.
Yeah,
After that, she was
she
like
was.
Samantha said, scratched twice, I believe
Yeah.
it. Once ran off, one time at the gate. Got really something we found out yesterday that's just so intriguing. We're going to team up with Royal Ascot. Sort of there it is to host a pair of Royal Ascot qualifying races for 2-year-olds. This is something. If you win these races here, you get money to go over there.
Yep.
Seems great. Now you get those our 2-year-olds can compete over there.
Yeah, they really can. They've got very good foundation here. They're already probably on the track gearing up for these types of races, and it's exciting. You get to go into the Royal Ascot, and what a fun opportunity and an awesome pair that we can do with Royal Ascot.
Yeah, that'll be the Royal Palm Juvenile and the Royal Palm Juvenile fillies back on May 13th. So that is pretty cool, I think.
Yeah, I think so too.
So we got about 28 minutes to the first race post. We got the pick 5 pool is over 60,000. The super high 5 approaching 100,000. 600,000 in the Rainbow 6 a little later on. And the one and only Pete Aiello is going to give you all the scratches and changes. And then we'll be joined throughout the afternoon by Brian, of course, and Claudia. So come out and hang out with us if you possibly can.
Introducing the first racing tool from Pegasus to Preakness. Iconic venues. World-class racing. Millions at stake. New champions will be crowned. Only at first.